Hello, so today is going to be a bit of an experiment and a bit of a rant. So the experiment is I'm experimenting with sewn book blocks. These are new for me. I don't wholly trust my skills in sewing a book block. I'm fairly new to sewing the signatures together to create the block, and I really not completely sure my work, but I am doing my best to make sure it's durable. Now here's the rant. I bought this off eBay. I paid 16 bucks and change, so basically 17 bucks. And I got what I paid for. I paid for a modestly priced novelty item, and that is exactly what I got. I am underwhelmed, but it is what I paid for. So I did not pay a lot for it, so I should not expect a lot from it. So first up, the grommet mispunched. Second, see these little threads? I think this is faux leather. They didn't even use real leather on this. There are threads inside the substance. So it's probably something made up of leather shavings from other processes that was pressed into leather-like fabric. So it's kind of leather because it's made from leather, but it's not really because there's fibers in it. So it's a almost leather. Second, the strap. It's just a loose strap. You can so easily lose this. It's not attached in any way. I want the closure to be attached because it's easy to go missing. You're wearing it and you come home at the end of the day, you look down, the strap is gone. All right, the charm, lovely charm. I actually do like this, but it's just tied on with a sloppy knot. Don't really care for that. I mean, if you're going to do something visible like this, own it, make it stand out, maybe put in a few embellishments, but just doing a sloppy wraparound and knot, not so awesome. Next, so the signature here, where do I begin? Okay, so this fabric, the pages are sewn to it. They're not, okay, they are glued together in the back, but they're sewn and then they're glued to this and then just glued along the spine. So it's not glued all the way down, so it only has attachment right through here. So not very sturdy. This should be attached down, and then at least one of these pages should be attached down as well, to give extra hold and reinforcement, and also to look good, to cover up this. This should not be visible. That's ugly. Okay, maybe some decorative end pages. It looks sloppy and ill done. And this paper here, it might be an 80 weight cardstock, but to me this looks like crumpled up manila file folder. It's just been torn along the edges, a little bit of burning, and just crumpled. So the crumpling makes it hard to write on. So I'm going to have trouble actually using this for anything functional. And it doesn't really give it the true distress look, being that it's just crumpling and not any colorization to give it the aged look. And the sewing is just one loop through. Really simple sewing. She did use, or he, I'm not sure which, did use a very nice, sturdy book thread. But because it's so large and this is such a small book, it just looks chunky and ill done. So underwhelmed by the quality I am seeing here, but to be honest, it is exactly what I paid for. I paid for something not top of the line, so I'm not surprised that I did not get top of the line. I, having seen this and having spent good money on it, have decided I want to do better. I want to do something that looks awesome, maybe something a little more crisp for my first round. I'll work on kind of the aged look for later, but for right now, we're just going to go with neater edges. I'm going to do standard weight paper so we get more pages in. I'm going to make sure the closure is something that is attached so it cannot be lost, and I'm going to do a better grommet. So I do like the charms, the key and the charm, and the imitation leather here is the right thickness, but don't really like the overall quality. So let's get down to it. Now I've been watching a ton of videos on bookbinding on full-size books, and I think I've got the gist of it. So I'm doing my own take on it. I'm modifying a few things to suit my needs, and the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, make it small scale. These are my papers. So these are 1 7/8 by 2 3/4, and you fold them in half. Match the edges perfectly as you can, and then you burnish it with your finger. Do not use a tool. If you get a tool and really crank it down and give yourself a crisp edge, that crisp edge is more likely to tear. Okay, when you want to tear a paper, you fold it really hard, maybe grab the edges and drag it across the edge of a table to really give it a sharp, sharp crease, and then you tear it. And that fold, that super sharp fold, makes it easy to tear. So that same super sharp fold in a page here would mean this would be more likely to have the pages ripped by the thread because it'd be weakened by that super sharp crease. So only use your finger to burnish it. Do not use a tool. Got that off a YouTube video by someone who does professional bookbinding, so kind of cool that. Alright, now because it's such a small book, and I really don't want to make chunky signatures. If you look here, these are very chunky signatures. They're just bulgy and unpretty. So I am only doing 3 sheets instead of 4 or 5 or 6 sheets to make my signature with. That's a very small signature, being only 6 pages, but even so, you can see the edges of the pages are a bit staggered. Okay, and that is why I'm not doing more, because on a small scale, that becomes so much more noticeable. Now, because I don't trust my sewing skills, I am new to this, and I'm, paranoid that my product is going to be crappy. I do everything I can to make it good. So I am taking this and just tapping on the very thinnest layer of glue. And be careful not to drag this across the page because the pages will stick together. So you tuck it in a corner and very carefully slide it back, not dragging it. Then you press it, and there you go. Now this is just to give a little reinforcement so that the pages are, 1, less likely to tear out individually, and 2, they won't shift about while I'm trying to sew them. Okay, and there we go. Okay, and there's your signature ready to go. Now, here's one already dry, and it's just enough to hold it. Everyone I've seen in the videos who does this regularly uses a template to punch their holes. So I actually have a template. In fact, I have 2. Now the reason I have 2 is because I am not using a jig. I do not really want to try and manufacture one for something as tiny as this. It's easier just to hold it in my hands than to use a jig to sew the signatures together, because I'd have to be down on my knees to get at that level, and just not ready for it. Alright, so one inside the other. I've got the back one marked where the top is, and a line on both of these so I have them the same direction. So get your piercing pad, make a sharp V, tap, tap, tap to make sure it's all the way down, hold it on the ends. One of the earlier ones I did actually walked while I was punching it, and I ended up with the holes in a slightly wrong position because it slid to the side midway through the process. So you don't want that. That's why I hold it on the ends. Slide it out perfectly in the V. I have actually had, before I started holding it on this edge, I was trying to hold it this way and punch, the way you see in the videos, and I actually ended up being off center. So holding it in the V, like so, actually forces it to be in the right spot and dead center. So that is why this works, because there are 2 of them, and you just tap it down. So here we go, we got our holes. Now I've already got some punched, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do 5 for this one. Now the reason I marked top and bottom, take a look. These are slightly off center. You flip it around, they're perfectly matched. So, did I put them all that way? No, there we go. Double checking. I marked the top so I can have them where I want to be. I should start putting a little line across the back just to make sure I recognize once I have them done. But it's really hard to get your holes on your template perfectly even side to side. So just make sure you know which way is top, and before you start sewing, be prepared to go with that. Now you want an even number of holes, because you start with the thread hanging out here when you go in, and you finish with the thread hanging out here when you come out. So an odd number won't give you that, and you're going to have a bit of a trouble getting it over to the next signature if you have an odd number of holes. So even number. That hole was tiny. Tiny, I tell you. Okay. Don't worry about making it too tight at this point. You're just getting it fed through. You'll snug it up a bit when you fasten the two ends together at the base, when you get down this one. So you finish the top here, you start the top here, you'll finish at the bottom. And you're just going to tie them together. And at that point you'll snug them up. Don't make them super tight, just nicely snug. Because if you make them super tight, they'll start tearing the holes. And tearing the holes would be, of course, bad. Now, as you get more advanced, you can use tapes, and the tapes run over the thread that comes out the back. But that is something you'll want a larger book to have, not something this size, because you'd have to have more holes to do that, and too many holes in something this size, and it's likely to actually weaken the pages, not strengthen them. Right, so give this a little tug. So, there we go. Now we'll snug up any excess when we, do a tie off at the top, because we'll be looping it through on the next one, and that will take up any looseness. Come back here. Crazy long nails this time. It's a long weekend, so I finally got a chance to do my nails again, which is why I'm doing a video, because my nails are pretty. And I've never had them this long before, and it's really hard to work with them. I am not used to having claws. It just doesn't work well in my job. And I am dropping stuff and having trouble picking stuff up, so it's actually kind of funny to watch me attempt to work with these killer claws, because yeah, I turned to a klutzy girl. Okay, looped over, snug, but not super tight. And there we go. So, still a little bit of shift, but not too much. And that's good. So is anyone else out there having allergy troubles? It is May in Washington, and the dogwoods are snowing on us, and everything's blooming, and it's just, hay fever. And I made the mistake of getting a bunny. He was so cute, but I'm allergic to rabbits, and I did not know this. Go figure! Now, because I tied these, I actually do have the option of using this to tie over to the next one. That won't work across the whole book, but it's a fairly small block that I'm making, so we're just gonna, if I can grab it, oh my gosh. Come on. Oh. Killer claws make me klutzy. No! Okay, there we go. Ah! Come on. Yay! Okay, I did it! I did it! Yay! Alright, so that is tied off. Time for the last one. Now this one is, I just pulled that off the needle. I did that, yes I did. Okay. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and get this done. I do apologize, this video is going to take a bit of time, slightly longer than usual, because I can't really prep sewing a book block in advance. I mean, what can you do? Do everything but the last signature? You need to see the start, you need to see a bit of the middle, you need to see the end. So, kind of stuck with the time factor. Okay. Oops. Yeah, there we go. And one more. Alright, so it's still got a little bit of shift in it, so it's snug without being too tight. And we're going to cut this off. You do want to leave a bit of the tail. You'll kind of fasten it into the glue, but if you cut it too short, there's a chance that the knots could slip out and later have your book unravel. Now, gluing the backing to secure the threads in place should prevent that from happening, but better safe than sorry. Again, I'm referring to my trusty PVA bookbinding glue. There's all kinds of wonderful glues out there, but this is the one I use pretty much exclusively for my books because it's actually meant for bookbinding. Alright, so actually we've got one more bit to do before we go that route. End papers. I like a decorative end paper because why not? So this is a bit of one I have marbled myself and then slapped onto a photocopier because I loved it so much I wanted to be able to use it over and over again. So I actually learned how to marble paper so I could have my own hand marbled papers in my books. Now these end pages aren't sewn in. You make a rim, you attach it by the rim. If you go to any of the books on your shelves, you'll see the end pages attached to the block partway up, and it's because they make a rim of glue and glue it to the block and then put on the backing paper, or backing fabric I should say, to there we go, to secure it all together. Okay, so that is lined up nice and neat. Now I don't have a proper clamp, oops, and working with something this small, you don't really need one. So I have this mat board, cut to roughly the size I want, and I make this as level as I can, side to side, and then tap it across the back, and make it stick out just a wee little bit. Come on. Klutzy girl. I'm so not used to working with these nails on. It's just weird. Everything's in the wrong place. Alright, so a little rim above so you're not getting glue all over your holder. Now some people do like to create a curved back for their book, and this would be one of the places in which you do so. I, however, do not, because I work small scale. There's really no point in something super tiny. Alright, so by clipping it, when you put the glue on the back, you don't get huge wads of glue along the pages gumming them up. So you kind of pat this into the surface, pat the string down. It's kind of, think of it as topical application of the spine backing here. So this is just reinforcement to hold all the thread in place and prevent it from raveling and running away. Also a little extra grip to keep the spine together. Now I would set this aside and let it dry completely, and I'd give it like 12 hours, but who wants to hang around for 12 hours and wait for glue to dry in a video? Not me. Plus, I do my videos all in one go because I cannot be bothered to learn editing. Alright, so next up is Tyvek. For your backing fabric, a lot of people use actual fabric. It's traditional. I, however, am working small scale and I need to avoid bunchiness, so I like Tyvek, okay? This is same stuff as house wrap. It's got the thickness of paper, it's got the flexibility of fabric, and it's got the lifespan of plastic. And I buy this off Amazon. Alright, so 20 sheets right now is $9.90. So $10 get you 20 sheets. 50 cents a sheet basically is a pretty good price. And if you're using it for small projects, you get a lot of substance for your money. So let's see. Just gonna crease one side. Normally I would measure it against the page and make it a little smaller than the page, but this is a remnant piece, so I'm actually kind of guessing about the spine. There we go. Alright, give it a fold and a crease. And that looks about right. Now, like I said, I would normally give it more time to dry, but again, video, I'm going to do it all at once. So put the glue on the reinforcing paper in this case, rather than on the book block, just because you don't want huge wads of glue overlapping the pages and making your pages stick to whatever you're clamping it into. Right, so let me just hold this in my teeth while I stick this on. Right, there we go. You'll notice that the page is, or the reinforcing fabric is smaller than the page, so the page can completely hide it. Smooth that down, and now we'll hit the other side. Okay, and there we go. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm kind of just smoothing it upwards, making it fit as snugly as I can. And now I'm going to put it back in the clamp. I've made sure there's no glue oozing out the sides, so we're good to go. And there we go. Alright, so we'll just let this sit and dry. In the meantime, I've got this one, which I have already made. And yeah, same whole pattern, a different color end paper, but it works. So I've got two laid out to choose from, a brown and a black. And this is black, brown. Let's see. How does that look against the interior? Oh, it actually looks better against the black. Go figure. Alright, black it is. So before we fully glue the block in, we need to set the grommet. So we need to know where we're putting it. Now, with these, I normally have overlap on all three sides of the edge of the page, but because this is going to be a fold-over book, like so, I actually want it to be even with the edge, because otherwise, if it sticks out a little bit, it's going to fold inward when you wrap it, and it's going to curl your pages slightly and deform them. I don't want that. So, alright, crocodile. So first up, I've already figured this is where I want my closure to be, whatever I decide to do. And then grommet is going to need to be about there. That's my marker. That is a black marker. Black marker is not going to work on black leather. Be right back. Silver marker. Yay! Right, so looks like about there. Yeah. Okay. Just make sure that that is... Alright. So we are going to punch this with the small punch because I use the small grommets. So line up in the hole, punch. Pull it out. And see, I've got black one. Oh, I can't grip with these nails. Ah! Yeah, I'm going back to my shorty nails. This is impossible. Oh my gosh. I can't grip beads and tiny things with these nails. This is rather embarrassing, actually. All right. There we go. Neat and tidy, no distortion. Got to tell you, if my grommets are distorted at all, I actually rip them out and redo them. Because I got standards. All right, so we're going to... I pulled these out. That will work, yeah. All right, we're going to do that cute little knob. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle was the tummy. Goodness. I've had these and I have yet to use them, so it's time to actually do so. These are Ranger products, part of the Tim Holtz line, and there's a lot of stuff out of the Tim Holtz line that is just really, really nice to look at. So you can get some really fun stuff going on. And actually, all right, before I close it up, actually, metal and wood. Okay, this is the stuff. Oops, a bit much. Oopsie. All right, so I put a little bit of glue in here so that when I screw this on, it is never coming off again. Essentially, it's going to function as Loctite. Anyone who does nuts and bolts will know what Loctite is. It means your nuts and bolts never move again. There we go. So that's screwed in, and we're just going to leave that be. All right. So at this point, we can glue the first half of the cover in. My tummy is making the most unusual noises. I guess I need to have something to munch. Alright, which side do I want to be front? Do this side. I like the way the black is picked out in here. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. Anytime there's printing, always double and triple check before you stick your book in the cover. It's really embarrassing when you're doing a book block that has pictures or words, you know, some kind of printing in it, and you stick it in the book cover upside down. That is the most embarrassing thing. Plus, if the glue is completely set before you notice, you oftentimes simply cannot remove it and reposition it. So you can actually ruin a project if you can't take it out and fix it. Okay, I need... That leather is super absorbent. Good to know. Oh, the noises. Whew. Okay. My stomach is making the most outlandish noises. It's not what I want people to hear. Alright. Let's try this again. There we go. There we go. Now, you notice the pages are in the way of the grommet there. I have a little thing I always do. I cut a notch. Hard to do with this post in the way, so I'll be off camera for this. Okay, there we go. Right, so that little notch just allows the ring to move around without eating the edges of the pages. So that's why I glue the front section, and then I go in separately and glue the spine and then the next page. It gives me a chance to make adjustments. And giving yourself a chance to make adjustments is very good. You'd be surprised how many times you have to do fiddly little fixes on something you didn't anticipate. Right. Okay. Gives me an edge where to put the glue. There. That should do it. Ooh. I want to put this in straight, please. And thank you. Okay. Right, now I use these. This is a heat-resistant mat for crafting. It's essentially made out of the same stuff you line the bottom of your oven with to make drips easier to clean up. So I use that to prevent sticking, because the glue doesn't permanently adhere to this. So any overlap in glue is not going to make a mess that turns your single-page block into a solid block. I love these things. All right. So let us continue. Fold that over, and we're just going to get an eyeball for where that needs to be. So press, 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 and right about there. All right. Large hole on the crocodile. Wonderful thing about the crocodile, it is sturdy enough to punch through leather quite easily. And that hole is too snug. Okay, good to know. Let's see. Tim Holtz shears. These things are really nice. So, tiniest little snick. You can make the cut bigger if you need to. You can't make it smaller, so start small and work your way up. Always, always, always. Be conservative and then adjust to be a little more generous with whatever you're working on. It's easy to take away. Sometimes it's really hard to add back on. I mean, if you're working with fondant, okay, yes. But if you're working with wood, you're pretty much screwed. There we go. Little post knob there. The leather falls back to kind of fill in the well created by the knob, so it fits snugly. If I had cut this to fit all the way around the knob, easily just slide over, then it would pop off just as easily. And that would be kind of bad. So, let's see, we're going to taper this, I think. There we go. Yeah, I like that look. That looks nice. All right, so we've got a black closure. We need some doodads. Gotta have doodads. So no ribbon. Let's see, I've got ooh, I can do kind of a pirate thing. I've got, I think these are Tim Holtz. They're at least in the same section with the Tim Holtz products in my Joann's. So, yeah, this will look really nice. I've got little skulls. These were expensive little buggers. They're tiny, but they were pricey, and I have no idea why. But they're a really cute little skull. So that will kind of go with a pirate-like theme. So that is, don't want to do my bronze. That's the wrong shade. Right, so I'll need to use a different shade jump ring than I've gotten there. Now, I ran some tests. This is a double ringer. I did two little diffs there. But I ran some tests with 6 different types of glue on a scrap of leather, and to see how they peeled, how they came off, what their endurance was. And it looks like the Zap had the best bond, least amount of lifting, and when it did lift, it was literally ripping away the top layer. So that is one heck of a grip. So the Zap-A-Gap. And seriously, any project that you care about that you're going to do more than one of, you're going to make a gift, run a test panel for things like glues and sealants, just to see how it affects things before you use it on your main project, because it's really disappointing to use something and have it fail or discolor or do something else to ruin your project. I mean, that kind of thing can just ruin your day. Just saying. All right. Now this, ooh, hello, drippy, has a very fine nozzle that comes with it. Right here. I have never bothered using that thing. I do just fine applying it directly from the bottle because it's very, very liquidy. And I just got glue all over my tweezers because it flipped. Ah! Wow, that has quick grip. So that is, there we go. This. Oh, it's already gripping. Let's get this off before I, yeah. Got some on my finger. Wow, that has some serious gripping power. So, from the various glues I recommend, I really like the Zap-A-Gap. This is very good. So this has a very strong grip. If you're doing something like a bail or anything that needs any kind of flex, E6000 would be the way you want to go. This is what a lot of jewelries make to attach their bails to their tile pendants and stuff like that. So run various test panels on your glues, and don't be afraid to have 6 different types of glues for 6 different purposes. Seriously, it can be very handy. All right, I've got jump rings somewhere. I'm just going to use this one because I've got this on hand. Right. Ooh. There we go. What do I have for chain? I've got brass chain. Do I have any silver chain? You know what? I don't have any silver chain, and I would have to take apart a necklace. So we're going to go with what we got. There we go. These scissors are so rugged. All right, and I've got this on hand. So there we go. All right, where'd my bead go? There it is. Okay. So, oi! Come back here. Oh, I can't pick that up. Stupid nails. There we go. Never again with the long claws. They're pretty, but they're so impractical. Alright, so we're just going to curl this round. A bit of tip up. Tighten that again. There we go. So I've got a loop on the bottom so I can attach something else on the end here if I choose to later. I've got a loop at the top to attach my chain to. Okay. Where's the open end of the... There it is. Right. Actually, you know what? I can just easier open that up a little bit. Come back here. Oh, you funny runaway thing. I'm sure it's hilarious to watch me attempting to work with these crazy claws, and I just put that on the wrong end because I am a twit. Okay, this side, sigh. Okay, there we go. And that is ready to hang. Open up. There we go. And come on. Okay. Oh, get into place, you. There we go. Alright, so I don't have the proper jump ring that I want for this, but I will put that on later. But there we go. In 40 minutes, actually less because I spent 5 minutes talking at the start, I have made a book which I believe is better quality than the one I purchased. And it's got a cute kind of little pirate theme going on with my skull and crossbones and my little skull here. All I need is a little tiny doubloon to hang down next to this. I wonder if they make those. I'll have to look into it. Anyway, yeah, so I think that looks pretty good. And I think that's way better quality than the one I purchased. And it's a fun little project. So if you're out there and you have some reasonably flexible leather, you can do exactly what I did. You can use a strap. You can probably take the strap and put 2 slits on the back, run the strap through, and then have it tie in the front. You just wrap around, tie in the front. You don't have to use a post if you don't have one. There are all kinds of methods to close these things, and I hope you try it and leave a comment, maybe post a picture, whatever. Anyway, bye all. Have a nice weekend. Happy Memorial Day.